Oh, hi everybody. I wasn't quite ready for that. Just kidding. I was just eating my veggie burger with bacon, jalapeno, Swiss cheese from the tab from Ellensburg, Washington, Pacific Northwest, USA. Welcome to our first ever virtual PK or Pachakacha. I'm sure somebody's going to correct me about that in a minute. My name is Monica Miller. I'm the proud director of Gallery One Visual Arts Center, located in the rural heart of Washington State. Gallery One creates community using the visual arts, if you don't know us already. And Pachakacha, excuse me. Pachakacha has been an incredible way for us to create that community using visuals in the format of these slides that you will get to see. You're going to meet some incredible people tonight from our community and beyond in this format. I'm so glad that we chose to go ahead with presenting this topic, food. And I want to give a shout out to Hope Amison, the director of the Museum of Culture and Environment, Central Washington University, who really inspired this topic in sync with an exhibit that she plans to have at the university coming up. So Hope, thank you very much. And I also really want to thank you for helping create some of these connections that are here tonight. A number of people that will be presenting wouldn't have been here without your prompting and invitation. So thank you. And I want to thank everybody who is here right now. We have 7 presenters tonight. We also are so fortunate to have Mark, co-founder of Pachakacha. And does that make me a little bit more nervous than usual? Yes. And of course, Sarah, my co-collaborator for our 21st PK night together, but our first virtual one. So thank you to Sarah for doing this and being here and being present and being such a passionate member of our community. I'd love to pass the mic. I feel like I should have a mic, but I'd love to pass the mic to you, Sarah, so you could share with us a little bit. Nice. So you can share with our community a little bit about what Pachakacha is and what it means to you, and why you're willing to play the VJ tonight.
Thanks, Monica. Hello, sweet Ellensburg, my town. I miss you, being with you in town, and to the world that's watching. I've been a collaborator with Monica we had our 20th version, as you may know, just in the last February with you all, and now we're at our 21st volume. We didn't miss a beat getting it online, because we know that even though we can't be together face to face, like we want to maintain a sense of community, right? And we need this opportunity to continue to connect and inspire each other, and see each other face to face. Like, can you see me? Right? Can you hear me? Yeah. I put on pants for this event, and I'm wearing my PK t-shirt. But anyway, I am excited about having this group of people that I've gotten to interact with over the last few weeks as we prepare. Please, throughout the event, if you like what you're hearing, like it on YouTube, right? Give us some feedback, even though we can't see you. And I think tonight, Mark, can I let you tell them about PK, and that, because that's usually what I do, but you're here.
Hi, hello from Tokyo. And hi, Monica. Hi, Sarah. And Ellensburg, hello. we love you. We love all that you do for the Projector Network. It's really fantastic. And it's amazing in this moment of social distancing around the world and this, you know, this tough moment, our community has sort of come closer together because of this. It's amazing I can drop in. It's 11 in the morning here in Tokyo, and it's great I can drop in and say a few words. So let me try and do it in 2 minutes. So Pachacha, that's the name of the format. It means the sound of chit chat in Japanese, and it's an onomatopoeia. So Pachacha, 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 the sound of chit chat, yeah. And you can call it PK or Pechakucha, but it's not Machu Picchu and it's not Projector Night, it's Pachacha Night. Okay. So we started it 17 years ago in our art space in Tokyo. It was the dawn of digital photography. And instead of putting slides into carousels, remember those? Suddenly you could take photographs and project them on a video projector, put them on a big screen. And in our office, like every Monday morning, we started having these little show and tells where if someone's been to a construction site or a factory visit, seen something interesting, everybody put them into Keynote on the Mac that didn't crash, unlike PowerPoint. And we had these Monday morning meetings, and we've been having those for 17 years now. But back then, we thought, well, I'd be really interested to see what other architects do, what they're up to, what they see, what they like. So in our gallery, where we didn't have enough events, we dreamt up this show and tell format. And because architects talk too much, like I'm doing right now, we came up with the idea of just 20 slides for 20 seconds. We held one event, and all the people that came said that they'd really love it because they'd love to present. And this has gone on, and we've been running monthly events for 17 years there. And then 2 or 3 years later, people saw it in Tokyo, started to take it to their city, and then it spread. We got to 20 cities. I made a website. And now, incredibly, today, we're in 1,233 cities, which is just amazing. And you're one of our favorites, okay, so thank you. We don't charge for the format, that's why I think it's spread. And yeah, I've got my t-shirt on too. It's not only a format, so it's 20 slides, 20 seconds, but it's a community. And there's a circular reinforcement of that. And instead of it just being, you know, there are other talked things on the net, but we've got a very simple format and I say this fantastic community. And when we had the earthquake and tsunami in Japan, the community got together and tried to help inspire Japan. And Japan's inspired the world with fantastic culture and art and cars and everything. And it was really on a downer. Not only was the tsunami and the earthquake, but it was the nuclear issues too. We had a very, very tough time. Over 1 million homes were damaged by the tsunami. So the community got together a month after the earthquake. We held an online event, and we've been holding these Inspire events, trying to inspire people in Japan and recording those. We have a massive archive of presentations from Inspire Japan. So we thought it'd be a really nice idea to start this. Now this is a global issue, so inspire the world. And this is our 18th event in 1 month. Okay, we kicked off with you. You were on the founders call, as it were, six weeks ago. And we talked about doing this, and it's been really amazing. And I think that the energy and passion in cities that you'll hear tonight is incredible. And you know, we all look at the news. Is it news anymore? But what you're going to hear tonight is true stories from Ellensburg that should be on CNN, that should be on Fox. And you know, I think this is really state of the nation what you're going to hear tonight. So without further ado, I should say one more thing. I told you 20 slides, 20 seconds. That's why I put the format up. So over on projector.com, you can go to the create button. You can make a presentation like this online, upload 20 images, voice it and share it. We're also developing this for schools and for businesses, just to keep these Zoom meetings short and to keep me quiet. So without further ado, Ellensburg, we love you. Over to you, and thank you to all the presenters for making such a great effort tonight, putting on this event.
Oh, thank you, Mark. That was really nice to hear from you, and to get such an awesome shout out globally, because you're right. I think all of these stories that are happening in Ellensburg are they're worldwide issues. I mean, yeah. Who's not eating their way, through the day?
I'm going to get my food in a minute.
I gotta get my food.
And who's not eating their way throughout the day? I think that's definitely the other piece of this. So there are a lot of really beautiful stories to hear. And thank you to the 7 of you who are willing to do that. Sarah, did Mark address everything that you wanted to touch on here in our beginning session?
Yeah, well, let me just say that we have 4 presenters for you. We're going to make some elegant transitions. And then at the beer break, we are going to give you 10 moments of silence on our end, or at least no presenters, in order for you to take a break. So after 4 presenters, you still get your beer break, and then we'll come back for the last 3 presenters. You know how it goes, Ellensburg. Are we ready?
So just to reinforce for the presenters and for our new audience, and I'm pretty sure we've got some diehard fans out there that have been attending as many as they can. I know Hope is out there. Hi. The way this is going to work is that Sarah is our VJ tonight. She is facilitating the images, and I am emceeing, kind of facilitating the speakers who are up. So I will be introducing the speakers, giving them a prompt and a question, and I would love for you, the audience, to also be answering that question on YouTube in the remarks. So we're going to learn a little bit about each other and ourselves tonight, because that's the point. And I really hope that going forward, you are able to reach out to everyone that's speaking tonight and stay connected in a way. And we'll talk a little bit more about different ways you can do that later. But I think we should get going. And thank you, Susan, for being our first presenter. If I'm doing this right, I'm going to spotlight you while Sarah brings up the screen and brings up your slides. And my question for you, Susan, before we get going, is what is your least favorite thing to eat?
Oh, people will be disappointed in me. I don't like wasabi.
Oh, okay, first of all, you knew that like right off the top of your head. And second of all, you know, this is like
Japan. Okay. Yeah. I know, isn't that awful? That's what came to mind.
What, you don't like wasabi?
My husband will eat enough to make up for me.
Way to be honest. Well, thank you, Susan, for starting us off tonight. When you're ready, what's the magic word, Sarah? Oh, I muted you. I think just say ready and she'll hit play.
All right, ready. All right, there we go. All right, so with tonight's theme as food for thought, I started to reflect on how much time my family thinks about the environmental and health impacts of how we eat. And so this is a picture of my family. My daughter Hyla's in kindergarten and Cedar's in 3rd grade. And on the left are the glass containers that we use to store our food. And on the right were the stainless steel lunch boxes and water bottles that we drink out of. So as a family, we put a lot of time and effort into making sure that we're eating healthy foods from sustainable sources. But this talk is more so about what we eat off of and what we do with our food waste. So this is a picture of our compost container at home, and we try to minimize any food waste that we have. And the food waste that we do produce goes into our compost bin here. We have a small backyard, but we have raised beds and we grow our own vegetables. So our kids are learning how to eat healthy and how to minimize their impact on the environment. And like many students, my son Cedar noticed that he wasn't being taught the same things at home, or at school, I mean. And so when he was a 2nd grader, he drew this picture and put copies up around his school. The Ellensburg schools have been using polystyrene or styrofoam lunch trays because they're inexpensive. And I hadn't realized that this was going on as a daily basis. And so my kids and I decided that we would do something about it. So here's Cedar holding one of these styrofoam lunch trays at school. And the World Health Organization elevated polystyrene from being a possible to a probable carcinogen in 2018. So in our schools, we're serving our children meals off of a carcinogenic material. And the kids scrape those, and some of the kids end up ingesting that material. There's also huge environmental impacts of using this. Here's Highland Cedar with a stack of trays. It's from just one day's lunch at Lincoln Elementary. And so there's huge environmental impacts of using these. In landfills, these take anywhere from 500 to 1 million years to break down. And then in the environment, they make up a major constituent of pollution and trash. So when you scale that up in our town, 1 day of school trays from Lincoln Elementary is on the left there, times 190 school days. That's 43,000 trays that are used and thrown away in 1 year. And across the district, that's 272,000 trays that are used. So last summer, we decided we would start to work on this. We met with Alexander Epstein Solfield, who's the food services director, to try to come up with a solution. And she was great. She was really responsive. So the first step that was taken was to transition the school district to paper boats for breakfast. Last August, I wrote a grant to the city of Ellensburg to get funds to help support the cost of transitioning the schools away from polystyrene. And then I also started to talk with Meg Ludlam, who's a member of the Ellensburg School Board. And that led us to presenting to the school board. And in response to that, the school board formed the Polystyrene Alternative Citizens Advisory Committee. So there were lots of other people in the community who were also concerned about the use of the polystyrene trays. 14 people joined the committee, including 3 elementary school students. My kids were 2 of those. 3 students from Morgan Middle School and 2 students that I advised through our university sustainability certificate program. And Meg and Alexandra were also involved throughout the process. So the committee researched alternatives to using polystyrene and put in just a tremendous amount of work. They conducted an in-depth analysis of funding options, including the barriers, and then we submitted a 6-page report to the Ellensburg School District at the end of January. This slide is to give, so I can give a shout out to Heather Hazlett and Sarah Reasoner. Everybody on the committee worked really hard, but these 2 were my real go-to. On the left is Heather with her daughter Julia in Styrofoam Man that they used to get the word out about the work we were doing. And Sarah did the work researching the BPA-free trays that we proposed we transition to. We wanted to get the word out to the community. And so the committee also worked to produce these flyers that were sent out to every student at Lincoln Elementary. And we also had a Spanish translation done for the flyer. So we advertised this really well in the community. So this is the night that we presented our findings to the school board. That's my son Cedar in the polystyrene costume on the left with 3 of his classmates. And I love these signs because these are the kids expressing their own concerns about the health and the environmental impacts of the styrofoam that they're being fed off of. There were over 100 people from the community who came out to the school board meeting. And by that time I'd been going to school board meetings and usually there were just a handful of people there. So it was really exciting and really inspiring to see so many people coming out and showing support of rejecting the use of polystyrene for serving our students. The student support was also tremendous. Students at Morgan Middle School had passed around a petition and they'd done the same at the high school. And that picture on the right is of 3 of the high school students addressing the school board, telling them why they felt it was important that the school district stopped using the polystyrene trays. And so for me, hearing the students' voices was the most powerful part of that really powerful night that we had in front of the school board. Both the Ellensburg Daily Record and the Yakima Herald ran stories covering the school board meeting. This was not the first time that this issue had been brought up in the community, and the papers have done a nice job covering the topic over the years. The Ellensburg School Board responded very favorably. In the committee's initial charge that we'd been given, we were told that our proposed solution had to be cost neutral. So we were thrilled when the school board agreed to start using reusable trays at Lincoln Elementary starting this fall, and that they also stepped up and said that they would cover the cost of the labor, which was the largest expense of using the reusable trays. And we'll work to expand this in the other schools in the coming years. When we did the food audit, or when we did an audit in the school, we also found at Lincoln Elementary that they were, that each day they were throwing away around 60 pounds of food. So we've also planned a composting program that will start at Lincoln once school's back in session. So to end with, I just want to I have 3 important takeaways. First of all, I'd like to think that we're teaching our kids that when they see something that they don't like, they have the power to change it. Second of all, change doesn't occur just by complaining about something. We have to work to be part of the solution. And last of all, Ellensburg is full of passionate people who work together to build our community into the wonderful place it is to live and work. And events like tonight's PK are really a testament to that.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the work.
Say
the
yourselves
work
and say
you're
yay.
doing is
Good
absolutely
job.
Yeah.
like, just inspiring. When we talk about PK, inspire the world. Thank you. I mean, I've been in those lunch rooms, and you see what's happening, and you just look at it like, how is this happening? And to actually, take action to make an impact is so cool. So thank you, Susan, for sharing that that message of impact, of possible impact, and also for being the first one.
Yes.
Also admitting that you don't like wasabi. So thank you. We're gonna move on to our next speaker, which is Patricia. And Patricia, while Sarah brings up your images in your presentation, I have a question for you, as I do for the 130 households that are watching us tonight. And for the record, our space holds about 130 people in downtown Ellensburg for these talks. So having 130 watchers, which at least in my family represents 3 people, is pretty amazing that we're able to expand how many people can engage with this awesome format. So thanks everybody for tuning in. So Patricia, my question for you before you get going is, what did you eat for breakfast?
Breakfast? I think it was more like brunch actually, and it was granola. I'm an old granola head.
Nice. I think there's a term for that, but thank you for sharing. And if you're watching and you can make a comment, love to read later what you had for breakfast. I had 2 scrambled eggs from Greenbow Farms here in Ellensburg. So Sarah, are you playing Patricia's recorded? Okay, so you'll set the pace for that. And
Yeah, maybe mute Patricia so it doesn't interfere with the sound.
Christina Garcia, 24, 2 kids, aged 3 and 5. Husband abandoned them, took everything they had. She got a job in Ellensburg, but they had to sleep on a spare mattress on the floor of her sister's trailer. No Christmas for them. She contacted us. We put out a press release. People donated a ton. June 2000, 18% of county residents have no health insurance. Apoyo partners with doctors Richard Backman and Mark Larson. Soon, more doctors begin seeing low-income people. Jesse Hernandez, pictured, had esophageal cancer. We drove him to Yakima for checkups until he passed away a year later. 2001, old heat plant, our new home. Smaller, no room to store appliances or furniture. Hard to unload delivery trucks, no loading ramp or pallet jack. We got volunteers to bucket brigade the food into 2 separate spaces. Mecha students hold a Christmas party for the kids of our clients, complete with decorations, Santa hats, and presents. Everyone had a ball. Clients leave Old Heat carrying boxes of food. We saw 359 families that December. Typically, December numbers had varied from 94 families in 2006 to 461 in 2009. We don't know why. We never figured out the code. Here, clients wait to give us names and numbers. We don't ask for photo IDs. We know nobody is going to show up for free food unless they really need it. We like to say that this is their food bank as much as it is ours. If not for them, Apoyo wouldn't exist. Clients often volunteer to help us. El Cholo here was no exception. I'm thinking that in this instance, there was some talk of distributing frozen spinach. We had a lot of room in the hallways of Old Heat where people could help themselves to food. It was a good place for clients to get together and shoot the bull, a favorite Rasa pastime. We dreamed of finding a bigger space to hold meetings, serve coffee, maybe even have a computer center. Our clothing room. CWU shoved us into this little room with a wire mesh wall that opened into the hallway. We managed to make do. Client volunteers would come in during off hours to straighten things out and fold clothes. (2001) Students protest in Yakima. 5 a.m. on a cold January morning, 30 people got arrested and taken to a detention center in Tacoma. We got together with other community groups to help bail them out and keep them from losing their housing. One person was deported, no one else was found guilty of anything. The only photo of the Ellensburg ice raid that appeared in the media was this one, of our clothing room. Clearly, we seem to represent the Mexicano community in our area. (2016) Shady Acres. County commissioners purchased Shady Acres. The park's 115 residents were told they had to leave. Many seniors had purchased trailers over 15 years ago. Trailers were too old to be moved. Residents couldn't afford rent anywhere else in the county. They had nowhere to go. With Professor Mark Larson and other groups, we helped organize a downtown event during Saturday market. We also helped organize trailer court residents throughout Ellensburg and put them in touch with the Northwest Justice Project. Attorneys filed suit against the county to delay evictions. Finally, residents were allowed to stay, but the county is demolishing vacant trailers, failing to repair sewer pipes, water pipes, and power lines, leaving elderly residents with little recourse but to hope they can find somewhere else to live. (2016) Apoyo is told we have to vacate Old Heat. After much delay, President Gaudino agreed to give us what he and everyone else already knew was the most decrepit building on campus. We had nowhere else to go. In September, they moved all our stuff into this house and spent $20,000 upgrading the wiring for our appliances. So here we are, with less room than we had before. We still dream about having some kind of big gathering place where folks can come to socialize, but people still manage to have fun unloading our truck, which now comes weekly, even though we still have to bucket brigade everything inside. We don't make a big distinction between clients and volunteers. We make it a point to tell clients it's as much their food bank as it is ours. We're just the paper pushers. Nobody tries to take more than their share because they know we're all helping one another. After a distribution, everybody feels happy. People start doing community service with us, but then they just keep coming back because handing out food is fun. We thought we would have to close with the pandemic, but the clients themselves took over the distributions. So it really is their food bank now. Philip still takes names when possible. In the past, he's always had our dog, Miss Wolf, sitting on his lap for everyone to pet and adore. Unfortunately, she passed away in late February, and we can't be there now because we're high risk for COVID. This is the Old Heat building today, empty, gutted, with dirt floors. We don't know why they didn't finish it. We heard they ran out of money. If we had $20 million, we might offer to buy it from them and turn it into a community center. Unfortunately, we have only about $8,000 a year, and we can only spend it on food.
Wow. All of that for $8,000 a year. I guess my follow-up question would be if anyone was motivated to donate to Apoyo, what's that mechanism?
Well, you just go to our website. It's a apoyofoodbank.org, and
Great.
you can find it pretty easily. We have donate buttons there, but what really would help us, we're getting more money now than we can use, frankly. What would really help us is people writing letters to the governor, asking them not to shut us down, because Central has been trying to shut us down now for ever since they moved us into that old house. So I think we talked to the board a week or so ago, and they still haven't answered us. But we told them it would not look good to shut down a food bank in the midst of a pandemic, and so I'm hoping that will at least buy us a little time. I just don't know what else we can do, but your voices are more powerful than dollars.
Thank you. I
Write to
think
the
that's
governor.
the lesson we learned from Susan earlier, is that our voices are
You bet.
powerful.
You
and have
bet.
impact.
That was an exquisite presentation, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you both.
I'd like to interject, Viva Apoyo.
Thank you. Thank
Viva
you.
Pollo!
All right. Yes, yes. Thank you so
So,
much.
well, thank you. We will move now to our next presenter. Thank you very much, Patricia. And we'll invite Sarah Scott to share. And
Okay.
my quick question for you, Sarah,
Uh-huh.
is are you a grilled cheese or quesadilla kind of person?
Growing up grilled cheese, but moved more to quesadilla as an adult.
Thank you.
Yeah.
right. When you're ready, Sarah's going to hit the play button.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, I find a lot of four-leaf clovers. I save them in wax paper, filed under L for luck in my dictionary, or else I stuff them into the plastic window in my wallet, or I leave them for someone else to find. But my favorite is when I see them at weddings and can give them to newly married couples. So I grew up in central Illinois, where the landscape is great for long distance flat like bike rides, and the corn is outstanding in its field. And I miss the fireflies, and I miss the thunderstorms, and I miss my friends. But to be honest, while I was growing up, I couldn't wait to leave for more exciting horizons. So my family is great. I have real cool parents. They're progressive, civic, and encouraging. And they gave me lots of opportunities to travel quite a bit around the US and overseas when I was young. They let me follow my liberal arts dreams. This picture was right before they left for their WJBC radio Great Escape to London in 1977. So although I miss my family and the wide open horizons, the Midwest doesn't have the same scope of biodiversity that I appreciate in the Western US. There's also a preponderance of pesticide and herbicide use for crops that mainly feed factory farm animals and is refined for ethanol supplement to fuel. So a four-leaf clover is a mutation that is found in about 1 in every 5 to 10,000 clover plants. But if you find one, you'll probably find others nearby because the mutation is present in the one plant, which has anywhere from scores to hundreds of clovers. Anyway, I'm pretty lucky because I'm married to this guy for almost 16 years. We're the Scottonwoods. I'm Sarah Scott and he's Andrew Cottonwood. And I want to thank our friend Rainbow D for coming up with that name at our first wedding out in the Tannum Canyon in the middle part during rodeo weekend those years ago. Anyway, Andrew manages our Victory Garden at our farmette in Dogtown. We've been eating fresh from the yard since about late April. This used to be a gigantic driveway, but we reclaimed it to be more productive than just parking. We have 7 large raised beds and we garden organically, of course. During World War II, food staples were rationed and the supply chain was focused on the war effort. So the US government encouraged victory gardens. During their peak in 1943, 2/3 of citizens had gardens and orchards that produced 80 billion pounds of food, or about 40% of fresh produce consumed that year. My project is the much less labor-intensive pollinator garden. I have big concerns about the decline in pollinator populations. I try to use native plants as much as possible when I can find them, though sometimes I will go to the local nursery and see who has the most bees buzzing around them and then bring those home. These are Western starflowers, which are my favorite, and they're currently blooming in my shade garden. These are informally known as Indian potatoes because the tiny tubers were historically eaten by the people who have been here since time immemorial. I couldn't locate the Salish or Sahaptin word for these. These are found on forest floors throughout the Cascadia. So I've been out in the mountain and Pacific West for about 25 years. And like most of us, I love to be up in the hills or down in the canyons or near the water, whether it's the rivers or the ocean. I like to hike and ride my bike up and down. It's fun for me to get to know wild plants. So it's morel season, and I know a lot of you are out and about, hunched over in the burns and on the northerly slopes. I like mushrooms, but for me, it's more about the hunt rather than the meal. But a couple of years ago, I crumbled some old morels under a rose bush and they fruited the following year. So you might want to try that. A few weeks ago, I was slogging up a long hill out of the valley on my bike and decided to take a break to hike a bike. My 4-leaf finding vision saw a slope of heart-shaped leaves adjacent to the road, and I found an expansive patch of Arnica cordifolia, which is also known as heartleaf arnica or leopard bane. Andrew hiked up with me the following day to harvest. We only collect enough for our household and a few friends and family. I gather the flowers by cutting with scissors at its axil, where the flower stem meets the main stem, and I never pull. And I also try to whisper a little gratitude to each one. This is the other patch that I use in the region, and I generally only go about every other year, so I'm glad to have another spot. Arnica montana, which was previously common in Europe, has been hunted almost to extinction, so ethical wildcrafting is totally essential. When we bring them home, we separate the flowers and place them on trays and put them on the porch or outside in the shade for a few hours to give the insects inhabiting them an opportunity to find a new place to go. These flowers go to seed quickly, so this part of the process is usually about 3 to 5 hours-ish. Then after that, the flowers are steeped for a few weeks in the sun. We use coconut oil, though I've used other types of oil. Coconut is easiest to work with for making salve because it solidifies at a low temperature and it hardens at a relatively low temperature, and the scent isn't overpowering. So this is what the oil looks like after about a month or so of steeping in the sun. Normally the oil would be white. It's a potent topical analgesic, never to be taken internally except as a homeopathic. It's effective for healing bruises, achy joints and muscles, arthritis, and headaches. The next step is to mix it up with beeswax. Sometimes we can source beeswax locally in the valley, or else we try to source regionally, usually purchasing from Better Life Natural Foods. The trick is to heat the wax to almost boiling, a little smoky, but not yet on fire, and then mix in the infused oil and then pour quickly into the little jars. This amount lasts us generally a couple of years. So anyway, I'm pretty lucky. This particular clover is a lucky matrimony clover, which I found at the Stone House in Roslyn at a rainy wedding reception and was able to give to the happy couple. This picture is by Chris Mendez. And now all of you are luckier for having watched this. Thank you.
So true. We are luckier. Oh my gosh. Just for the record, for me, it's more about the bounty, not the hunt. So if you get a surplus, that's great. That was awesome.
I love
Thank you.
the victory garden.
Yeah.
Something about history and for the clovers.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
You know, for those of you who want to get the actual recipe for arnica, the process will be, these presentations will all be ready on the pachacacha.com site under our city, or you can look for Sarah Scott as well as any of the other presenters. So we're going to move into our last presenter for this session for the first half, Blake. Blake, my question for you. Hi.
Hi, can we hear me?
Yes.
Yes, fantastic.
My question for you is, like, what's your favorite holiday to eat?
Oh, Thanksgiving, 100%.
Thanksgiving? That's your.
Because it's a variety of things. It's lots of quantity. It's friends. It's family. Thanksgiving's easily my favorite meal holiday.
Yeah, I can see that. That's why you have that big table in the middle of the.
Yes. You'll see that later. You'll see that later. In the
Oh, okay.
I knew that Blake would stand up for this. I knew.
Oh yeah, I'm a
It was a-
kinesthetic speaker. I can't. If
It
I were
was
to sit
given.
down, I would.
It was a
I would
given
go
that you were going to stand up, and I can't
Yes.
wait to see your gesturing.
My gesturing. Well, let's hope I don't hit anything, the wire, anything like that. Let's keep my
I
hands to
know.
myself.
So I'm muting your. You got to do it live, dude.
I'm ready for
Right.
it. Let's go. All right, Sarah, hit me with it. Go. My name is Blake Collins. I'm the owner of the Pearl Bar and Grill. I'm a gamer. I'm a golfer. I'm a skier. I'm a dog lover. I am here in Ellensburg. I'm a transplant, and I appreciate everybody for giving me an opportunity to come out here and speak. This is a little tidbit of where I come from. I come from Mukilteo, Washington. It's as serene as this picture looks. I had one of those upbringing where I was very fortunate. My dad sold a lot of Subarus. So this picture represents my ability to thank everything I had. I grew up on the water, fishing, skiing, everything I could to be out in the open and enjoying life. Now, this man is the man. He taught me everything I know. My dad taught me how to wake up with ambition, how to have a routine about my day, and how to attack every day with an intention, because the goals that you need to do in your day are what get you through it. This man died at 19. When I was 19. This was the first thing I learned as far as life is short. Now, this woman and I have an amazingly close relationship. This is my mother. My mother and I have skydived together. We've jumped out of a plane at the same time and met on the ground and hugged. And this woman is my rock. She's my cheerleader. She's my support crew. And I love this woman more than anything else on this world. And I'm thankful for her every single day. I owe her my entire life because of what I've put her through. Rufus. Rufus is the name of the cow. Rufus is an unsettling reminder of how short life really is. One moment, Rufus was a golden retriever cuddling up to me petting his ears. The next moment, Rufus was chasing me through the field and I had to dive headfirst under the fence to not be gored by his horns. Rufus is a mean guy. This is me in Boston. This is me showing that it's about taking advantage of the opportunities that you had. In a situation where I own my own restaurant, I write my own schedule, I realized on a whim and spontaneity that I needed to go to Boston and knock off my bucket list. It wasn't about putting things on the list. It was knocking them off, because you don't know when life is too short. This is me after hitting the ground at 55 miles an hour in a skydiving accident. I broke my pelvis, my femur, my MCL, meniscus, cheekbones. I gave myself a brain injury. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, a wheelchair for 4 months. And it is every scar on my body tells me what it's like to die. I actually passed away because of this accident, and it is a reminder every day to take advantage of what you have, the gift that is life. Now, this situation could have made it so I had a very negative outlook on life, but that's what the skydiving accident taught me more than anything. It taught me to stay positive. Positive mental framework is what keeps you in the game in this world, and you can't allow the bumps in the road to stop you from achieving everything you wanted. Positive mental framework and metacognition, thinking about what you're thinking and how you are being toxic to yourself, is that accident taught me to rebuild my positive mental attitude. This man, Justin Fuller, is possibly the only person who has the exact same story as me, except for in that skydiving accident, that was the man that was covered in my blood from that laceration on my forehead. He is my brother, and without him and the life's unbelievably crazy circumstances put him and I together and put me in this restaurant. This restaurant, the Pearl Bar and Grill, has this community table. It's a 20-foot black walnut table with the entire idea that the community needs to come together and dine, because food and drinks and marry, that's what brings all of us together and gets us through these hard times. And this table is our symbol that when you sit at this table, you eat this type of food. This is Lacey Bender's passion fruit glazed pork belly roast. Now, Lacey Bender is the wizard of Pearl Street. She is an amazingly culinary gifted chef who I can't believe was willing to work with me. But here we are, turning out food left and right that this community is coming together behind. And cocktails are where I come to the picture. I'm a man that's behind the bar. That's my comfort zone, is when I can be pouring drinks and being with it. And my team, Maxwell Wicklander and myself, we've come up with some amazing cocktails that, because ingredients are important. Life is short, and ingredients, what you eat, what you put in your body, is important. And as glorious as owning a restaurant is, this is how I feel 9 times out of 10. Hair going sideways, white t-shirt from waking up, just not ready for the amount of tasks that I need to get done on that day. But because of that positive mental attitude, you stay focused, you stay driven, you stay looking forward and going towards the next goal. Because on the other side of hard days are always moments like this. This is Thanksgiving of 2019. We did an orphan's Thanksgiving. We shut down the restaurant. We invited all friends, all family, anybody who didn't have a place to go for Thanksgiving. And we did a potluck, because the Pearl is about community and about scratch food. And I cooked, gave Lacey the night off. The best part about this restaurant, that's been the biggest surprise to me, has been live music. I've told every band that I've every band that's performed with me, that I am a bar owner that owns a music venue by accident. I couldn't have foreseen anything along those lines. And this is the reason that I do it. Kyle is from Apology Wars. Kyle is a 22-year-old man on the brink of graduating, not knowing what he wants to do with his life. And him performing on this day in front of 50 people makes me know why I am the way I am. I fight every day to live my life to the fullest, to give people like that the opportunity. Life is short, everybody. Seize the opportunities that you have and take advantage of everything that you can. Why not? What are the odds that I was surviving my dad dying from cancer, skydiving accident? I'm owning a restaurant in the pandemic, in the COVID-19, because I said yes to life and I didn't care what the odds were. I ended up in this situation by saying yes to life. I have a beautiful girlfriend, 3 dogs, an amazing life that I never could have imagined was coming on the other side of dying. And I'm thankful for this every single day. So I'm here in the PK because everybody needs a reminder. Around the world, we need a reminder that if you set goals and incrementally take it down step by step, we'll be able to accomplish anything that gets put in front of you. Thank you very much for coming out. This is Blake from the Pearl. Thank
yes. Wow. You know what?
Thank you.
I didn't expect anything else besides that, like, pep talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I reserve my spot at your giant Thanksgiving table for next?
Yes, you can. Everybody's welcome. It was 20 people and it grew. A setup? Yes. I needed a little Sarah Jones in my life. What can I say?
Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For
That's
sharing
a message for our night. Food and thankfulness.
And I think
Thank you.
You're just like the perfect person to be here right now at like this, to be the last speaker of the first half, I guess, of our segment, because what we want to do really is to invite everyone that's watching to order takeout.
Yes, takeout is keeping all of us alive right now. Business as well.
Takeout wherever you are. If you're in Ellensburg, hopefully you got to see a rotating list of businesses that are doing takeout right now. If you're wherever, you call them and you order some food and some drinks if you can.
Cocktails.
And get in there. So that's what we're going to invite people to do in the next 10 minutes when we take this break is in PK fashion, a beer, juice, wine break, whatever it is, where we invite you to refill your beverage, to refill your plate, to take a potty break, to engage with somebody, to learn something new about yourself or someone else. And I do want to take a minute to thank Iron Horse Brewery, our one of our local brewers. We also have Whipsaw Brewing here in Ellensburg, Washington, but Iron Horse has been a sponsor for us for years now, and I guess they're also delivering. So give them a call if your cup is empty. Order some takeout over the next 10 minutes, and we will reconvene here. What time is it? 7:54. So does 8:05 we're going to be back, and in those 10 minutes we're going to run some slides, some suggestions of places for you to order from. If you don't do it tonight, do it another night. And we'll also be streaming live Ellensburg Community Radio. Thank you, Sarah, for hooking us up with that. We've got our DJ Scott Fenley, who will be playing some tunes right here straight from the Berg. So we'll be back 10 minutes.
Monica,
Yeah, Sarah, yeah.
can I just say that whenever we come back from the break at 8:05, Mario is gonna drop in and say hello to everyone.
All right. Yeah, we've got some special special guests tonight. So thank you to our first 4 presenters, and I look forward to our next round. Yay.
Thank you if you're listening on PK, or if you're listening on Ellensburg Community Radio. My name is Scott Fenley on ECR. That website is ebergradio.org, and you can hear all of the good stuff that I'm about ready to play, or even more. My show is on Monday nights. It's the A-List at 8 o'clock, and I play great tunes from great albums throughout history. But right now, let's get to some food. This is Jack Johnson and Banana Pancakes here on Ellensburg Community Radio, helping out PK.
Can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. But baby, you hardly even notice when I try to show you. The song is meant to keep you doing what you're supposed to. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep. Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend now. We could pretend it all the time. Can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. But just maybe like a ukulele, mama made a baby. Really don't mind the practice, cause you're my little lady. Lady, lady, love me, cause I love to lay you lazy. We could close the curtains, pretend like there's no world outside. Then we could pretend it all the time. But can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. Ain't no need, ain't no need. Can't you see, can't you see? Rain all day and I don't mind. The telephone singing, ringing, it's too early, don't pick it up. We don't need to, we got everything we need. be right here and everything we need is enough. Just so easy when the whole world fits inside of your arms. Do we really need to pay attention to the alarm? Wake up slow. Wake up slow. But baby, you hardly even notice when I try to show you this song is meant to keep you from doing what you're supposed to. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep. Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend now. And we could pretend it all the time. And can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. Ain't no need, ain't no need. Rain all day and I really, really, really don't mind. Can't you see, can't you see? You gotta wake up slow.
That's Jack Johnson and Banana Pancakes here on Ellensburg Community Radio. ECR is totally volunteer driven. You can check out all the programming at ebergradio.org. There's plenty of great programming here. We do music for First Friday downtown whenever we can congregate again. And there's a lot of great shows. Like I said, mine is Monday nights. And there's just so many great programs here on Ellensburg Community Radio. And we thank Gallery One and Sarah and Monica for allowing me to talk at you. Let's play some more food music. There's Cake by the Ocean on Ellensburg Community Radio.
Oh no, see you walking around like it's a funeral. Not so serious, girl, why those feet cold? We just getting started, don't you tiptoe, tiptoe. Waste time with the masterpiece, to waste time with the masterpiece. You should be rolling me, you should be rolling me. You're a real life fantasy, you're a real life fantasy. But you're moving so carefully, let's start living dangerously. Talk to me, baby. I'm rolling up the mirror since we played the home. Let's lose our minds and go crazy, crazy. Keep on hoping. Cake by the ocean. Walk for me, baby. I'll be pretty, you'll be Naomi. Whoa. Let's lose our minds and go crazy, crazy. Keep on hoping we'll be cake by the ocean. Hide them. See you licking frosting from your own hands. Want another taste? I'm begging, yes, ma'am. I'm tired of all this candy on the dry land, dry land. Oh, waste time with the masterpiece, to waste time with the masterpiece. You should be rolling me, you should be rolling me. You're a real life fantasy, you're a real life fantasy. But you're moving so carefully, let's start living dangerously. Talk to me, baby. I'm rolling up the mirror since we played the home. Let's lose our minds and go crazy, crazy. Keep on hoping we'll be cake by the ocean. Walk for me, baby. Walk for me now. I'll be pretty, you'll be Naomi. Whoa. Let's lose our minds and go crazy, crazy. Keep on hoping we'll be cake by the ocean. So delicious. Talk to me, God. Talk to me, baby. I'm rolling up the mirror since we played the home. Let's lose our minds and go crazy, crazy. Keep on hoping we'll be cake by the ocean. Walk for me, baby. I'll be pretty, you'll be Naomi. Let's lose our minds and go crazy, crazy.
On Ellensburg Community Radio, we're about ready to wrap up the beer break, I think, but I got one more track for you. And then there'll be an instrumental and Sarah and Monica can take over. The late Little Richard singing about Tutti Frutti. Thank you for allowing ECR into PK, everyone. ebergradio.org. My name is Scott Finley. Enjoy, everyone, the stories about food.
Wop, bop, loom, bop, lop, bop, bop, tutti frutti, oh, rude. 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 Oh, wop, bop, loom, bop, lop, bop, bop. I got a girl named Sue. She knows just what to do. I got a girl named Sue. She knows just what to do. She rock to the east. She rock to the west, but she's the gal that I love best. Tutti frutti, oh rude. 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 Bop, bop, doo, bop, 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 bop. I got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. Got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. She knows how to love me, yes indeed. But you don't know what she do to me. Tutti frutti, oh rude. 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 Bop, bop, bop. Tutti frutti, oh rude. 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 Oh, bop, bop, doo, bop, 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 bop. Got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. Got a gal named Daisy. She almost drives me crazy. She knows how to love me, yes indeed. Boy, you don't know what she do to me. Tutti frutti, oh rude. 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 Oh, bop, bop, doo, bop, lop, bam, boom.
Yay! Welcome back. I felt like I was in a music video there with Oscar from the Yellow Church in Ellensburg, who also owns Roslyn Mexican Grill up in Roslyn, like chopping his heavenly loaf. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
Monica.
it was so cool. So we just had our break, and normally during the break, like people are like packed at the bar, and they're just like, give me another drink. They're talking. We like Sarah and I are like, be quiet, get back in your seats.
Right.
And you know, that's missing. Another thing that's missing is your contribution to the bar. And the bar funds is what we use to support the event, but also what we use to contribute to the PK Global Fund, which we are active contributors to. We're asked to help support the platform that shares all of our stories and this amazing catalyst for community and connectivity. And in lieu of that, I want to ask you to do two things. We've set up a text to give opportunity. So you can type in your phone this number, 44321. Go to your text, go to text, type in 44321. And then in the message blank, type in gallery. And it should bring you to a site where you can click 5, 10, 15 bucks, however much you would have spent on your juice or beer. It would be great if you could share that now. Our practice is giving a portion of those proceeds to the PK Global Fund. We want to continue to do that. So thank you. If that doesn't work, you can just PayPal me at director@gallery-1.org. Lots of ways to give, don't worry. And also the second place I want to direct you to in terms of making a contribution is to the PK site, because they've got all this awesome swag and you want some, They're like tote bags and hats and obviously our t-shirts, our matching t-shirts that you could order yourself. I think there's a coffee mug there also. So please text 44321 gallery to give, and or visit the swag site on pachakacha.com. Yes, and get with the program.
Look, Monica, can you tell that my hair got messed up during the break? Because I was
the wind? You were dancing.
Yeah.
Of course you were. Of course you were.
I hope that all of you at home were too, enjoying ECR music. And right now we all need a little Mario from the Red Pickle. He is gonna, if you need some tips on having the perfect mix from home, let me share with you Mario.
A little bit of spicy. In this case, we're going to be using sweet ghost pepper vodka from Heritage, which is a local distillery. We have also raspberry raspberry puree mix, and of course, a mojito setup is going to be always your lime wedges and mint. I always do about like 3 lime wedges and about 4 or 5 mint leaves. So what we're going to be doing right now, the process is modeling. We want to try to be gentle and nice to model this. Try to get the oils of the mint. So, and then what right now, next step is going to be our ice. And of course, we're gonna be putting about like maybe 1 ounce of raspberry puree and 2 ounces of the ghost pepper vodka from Heritage. So 2 ounces, boom, making this really amazing and tasty. Next step is going to be shaking. We're going to be shaking this drink to mix it up all the flavors together. And to complement this drink, what we're going to be doing is rinse the shaker with Sprite and soda to get a little bit of bubbly taste. And of course, every single drink should have a garnish. We're going to add your straw and of course, your nice mint touch. So I present to you the spicy ghost pepper mojito. And remember everybody, be kind, be safe. We are a wonderful community. Keep calm and Red Pickle on. And don't forget to make your orders at the Red Pickle at 509-367-0003. Thank you so much for watching these videos.
Could you see how much Mario missed us too? You could see it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we have so many great restaurateurs, bartenders, and friends in this community. So many things to eat, so many things to drink. I'm ready to hear from our final 3 presenters. I'm really excited to move to Kate. Kate, I have a question for you while Sarah brings up your images. My question for you, Kate, is what was the last dessert that you ate?
Don't say broccoli, please.
I think this is kind of embarrassing. So I mean, I won't tell the whole long story. But well, anyway, so the place that I buy irrigation supplies sends like Tootsie Pops. I don't know why, but I ate one yesterday at lunch.
Wow. I'm so glad I asked you that question. That was just.
I love that. That was unexpected.
Yeah.
All right, Kate, when you're ready, Sarah will hit.
I'm ready. Growing food is work that puts a person in a committed relationship with the land, in the tangible sense as it relates to the biotic systems within the space, and the intangible sense of the history, the emotion, and the power stored in the place where they do the work. Food studies and farming dramatically changed my perspectives. I'm going to talk about some of those things today through what I've learned studying food systems and culture, through my own personal experiences, and what I hope to see. And I want to say at the jump that my privilege is very present in this story. For so many communities, food holds more physical and emotional weight than what I have known. For generations of African descended farmers forced to come here and do the work, for current generations of Black farmers experiencing racism and attempted land thefts, for farm workers in the fields not getting the care or protection they need, for the indigenous peoples whose land was taken from them, here where I am currently farming on ancestral Yakama land. I chose to do this work, and generations before me chose to do this work. Whatever I have experienced as it relates to food or not, I have always had choice, and that puts what I'm about to say in context of the privilege I was given at birth. I did not grow up in agriculture. Farming was not on the table when considering what my life would be. My relationship to food was unstable through my adolescence. At the time, I could not grasp that I did not feel at home in my body or my life. And to me, food was a saboteur to the mold I needed to fit if I was finally going to feel any sense of belonging. My first experience growing food was at the student farm at my university. I planted garlic. Over the next few weeks, as I was volunteering at the farm to get class credit, I began to feel joy that I had not felt in years. I looked forward to learning more. I became increasingly more involved at the farm, and I began to feel attuned to parts of my body that I had seen only through shame for so long. I began to feel confidence and connection that I had never seemed to make with anyone or anything. It was liberating to begin feeling strength and purpose in my body for something that felt so deeply personal to each of us. Working with farms allowed me to break free from the systems I had been inside of my entire life and didn't realize were keeping my truest form under a trampoline, my external self constantly bouncing away. The people I met while farming showed me how to live in a way that embraces imperfection and growth. People who showed me how to bring vulnerability to the work we do. I was introduced to new perspectives, histories that were unknown to me, and food is the core to human communities. These people that I was lucky to work with and learn from changed everything. I was able to start healing my relationship to food and start a path of recovery. I began to understand and embrace my queer identity, to see that I am outside a binary existence and everything I want to be in life is from that place. As queer folks, we seek deep connection with our community and the communities around us to find safety and support. I found refuge in our food community and in the biotic community that surrounded me whilst on the farm. My queer farm inspirations like Nikiko Masumoto and Jonah Mossberg talk about farming as self-expression, how putting an intimate part of yourself on display through your farm is healing. I see farming as inherently artful and creative. The constant questions of why aren't my carrots germinating or how the heck am I going to stop these flea beetles from eating everything demands creativity, especially when doing so in a way that puts intentional care into the land. What piece might be receiving less attention to where everything else would improve slightly if it got more care? How am I treating my soil, and what might change if I don't manipulate it so much? I strive to aggressively queer the work that I do. And I say aggressively not in a violent way, but in the sense that there is no longer a reality in which I will quietly take the shape that is more convenient for those around me, but take the shape that allows me to feed my community from that place of love. To me, providing access and building resilience around the space is just as important as the food I grow. To be able to now create a space motivated with community in mind, work with students at Central eager to learn and participate, to create opportunities to find innovative ways of feeding people is incredible. That I have this opportunity to put what I want to see for community scale farming into practice is amazing. The act of providing community service and healing is ingrained deeply within the LGBTQIA and Two-Spirit communities. To grow food in a way outside of normal convention and to distribute food in a way outside of normal convention is a part of community healing. Now, as we face this pandemic, providing food to our population is essential. This is where the creativity is demanded. How do we support our communities, but also support ourselves? How do we do this in a world where we are not profit-driven, but people-driven, yet survive within the systems we have no choice but to live in? And these are not questions that I have answers to, but they are questions I am considering as I move through the next few months or next few years of my work. Through this, we draw on the resilience we have learned through working with the land, where I look to the queer farmers who came before me and the Black, indigenous and farmers of color who have been doing this work for centuries. Where I don't always feel at home in my body, working with soil and with food always helps me feel belonging and safety. Where capital-driven, large-scale food systems can be depressing, the healing act of putting self into the farm is my antidepressant. Queering the farm spaces I am in, where it is safe to do so, is my act of self and community care. An act of care that would have seemed radical not so many years ago, and that I thank my queer ancestors for the ability to embody. And what I have come to see and what I move forward with is growing food outside of norms is an act of love for our environments, for our bodies, and for our communities. And I knew I was going to rush through that, but yeah, that's how I feel.
Wow, Kate.
Yeah, awesome. I think that deserved a moment of silence.
It deserved a moment of silence. I agree. That was,
Yeah.
Sarah, unmute yourself and say something.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really wonderful to be able to do this work. And I think we have to carry, the history of where we are in this country with us as we're doing that. But that's how we move forward and get through these moments.
So grateful for you for calling that out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That was empowering.
Our next speaker is Bob. And Bob, I have a question for you. My question for Bob. Are you, okay, if you had to pick one form of eating potatoes for the rest of your life, would it be mashed potatoes or French fries?
Mashed.
Mashed, okay.
More butter.
At Blake's table. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. With Chef Lacey.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I miss all of our restaurateurs, and I miss Chef Lacey. So
I know you do. I know you like your takeout too.
I do.
Okay, it's ready for you when you're ready.
Okay. I'm ready. So I grew up in a nuclear family that was more atomic than nuclear. My parents both worked a lot, and food had a very low priority. It seemed to always be kind of the same, not very good and not very compelling. There was very little wonder in our life except for this bread, which we were told was wonderful, but it really wasn't. It was really just 5 for $1 or 10 for $1. Money was always tight and food was always basic. And this is what I thought bread was as I was growing up. And then I discovered something kind of magical. As I traveled, as I found bakers and bakeries, I discovered that this is also bread. And this is my favorite way to eat my Bob bread. It's a 12-grain nut and seed bread with organic local honey and grass-fed butter. It comes from very simple ingredients. This is a 7-grain cereal that I get from our local Daily Bread, which is where I get all of my baking ingredients. And I love the simplicity of baking. It's kind of magical. So I'm going to show you very simply how to make it. And please start with the scale if you can have one. Otherwise, I've given both imperial and metric measurements. So start with water, 300 grams of water. That's pretty simple. You don't need to filter it, just water as it comes out of the tap. If you can find it, use organic honey, either 2 tablespoons or 74 grams. And please measure things, because baking is really a chemical experiment. And this experiment I've been running for 150 weeks around the world. And when I travel, sometimes I even bake in the offices I travel in. I'm a computer guy. So use good quality olive oil if you can. Low acid is best. And you can tell the difference. The ingredients make the bread. I was making bread for folks in Portugal a few months ago, and they were delighted to find out they had the ingredients to make this. Simple white bread flour, if you can find it, from Wheat, Montana, if you're here in the US, or I use Bob's Red Mill or King Arthur, 2¼ cups or 270 grams. So when you're done with this presentation, you'll know how to make my bread. Now, my 7-grain cereal mostly has oats in it. So if you can't find 7-grain cereal, find something with oats and flax and other things. Sometimes I use 7-grain, sometimes I use 12-grain, but just a cup of cereal is all you need. And that I actually do measure with a cup instead of grams, because it tends to change in weight. A little bit of salt. If you're salt sensitive, you don't have to put so much salt in. I try to use sea salt if I can find it, and I don't like salt that's iodized. So find something natural if you can. But again, that might be hard for you depending on where you are in the world. So a little bit of salt in there will give it flavor, but it'll be okay without it. Now, I add Vital Wheat gluten. So for those of you that have gluten sensitivity or pretty much any allergy, you'll probably be allergic to this bread, because Vital Wheat gluten is how we have this bread rise. And it's really important with so many seeds and nuts in it. So unfortunately, you can't substitute this. Bread machine yeast, 2 teaspoons. We tend to use more bread machine yeast than regular yeast, because it only has about a 3-hour period from start to finish, usually about 3 hours and 10 minutes. So, rushed a little bit there. So the next ingredient is probably the most important. These next 2 ingredients, the raw sunflower seeds. It says here ½ cup. You can use a 1/4 or a ½ cup, but I like to overdo it. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing, I think. And when it comes to seed bread, that's certainly true. So I do a ½ cup of sunflower seeds, and I usually do a 1/4 cup of raw pumpkin seeds, although recently the bread that I'm giving Sarah tonight actually has a ½ cup of both pumpkin and sunflower seeds in it. And the rest of the recipe, pretty simple. Sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons. And if you don't have those, you can use any other kinds of seeds. Some people like flax. I like crushed flax, which is the next ingredient, but you can put in any whole seed that you like. Just put in about 2 tablespoons. And then roasted crushed flax, 1 tablespoon. Gives it kind of a Dutch nutty, it's sort of a Dutch bread sort of flavor. This is amazing in the morning, toasted. It's fairly extraordinary, really. And this, by the way, is a bread machine that I got from Goodwill. All of my bread machines, I have 10 of them out on loan in the community for the pandemic. My bread machines usually cost about $15 to $20 used. A new bread machine costs somewhere between $50 and $500, but go buy a used one from any used site you can find. This is what it looks like in your bread machine. It takes you about 5 minutes to assemble the ingredients. You do want to watch it and make sure and use a spatula down the sides, just to make sure you get all of the goodness in the bread instead of having kind of a weird crust. And it will typically, the entire cycle takes about 3 hours. This is what the bread looks like. And I love sharing things with friends. I love feeding the community. I grew up without enough hugs in my life, and I like to give people a hug, which for me is warm bread. So if you ever see me and you need a hug, especially in COVID-19 times, here's a friend of mine who needed a hug, and she's got in that Weininger's insulated bag, Eng has a nice hot loaf of bread. And tonight, I think it's gonna work. I have a loaf of bread here virtually, and what I'm gonna try to do, I've never done this, but I'm gonna try to actually see if I can hand that to Sarah. So Sarah, can you unmute yourself and let's see if it works. You ready? Here it comes. I'm handing it to you. Can you see it? Yep. Oh, look at that. I think that might have been the first time that's ever happened on PK. And what do you think, Sarah? What can you say about the bread? Are you a fan?
Oh my gosh, it tastes amazing.
Yay. Well, enjoy it. There we go. We have a live demonstration. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Crank me up. I think we did it. I think I spotlighted that video just in time. I like this. A loaf of bread is a hug. Okay.
Right? He wants to hug us.
Yeah, a
What a
loaf of
hug
bread.
right now.
It's our new hug. So thank
I
you,
think
Bob,
those
for
body
our
pillows-
hugs.
Yeah.
But, and I should remember that Bob did offer to bake a bread for the top 4 contributors to our text donation site in Ellisburg. So if you're local and you
I'll
are,
deliver them on the
Don't let him-
weekend. Yeah, I'll deliver them on the weekend. So, and Ellensburg, by the way, shout out to someone who bought us dinner last night. Thanks for a brother who reached out and bought us dinner from Jim Rowe's restaurant, and Jim delivered it last night. So if you're watching and you're not from Kittitas County and you've got a friend watching, reach out to one of these restaurateurs and have them delivered to our house. That was pretty awesome. So
pay it forward. I love that.
yeah, that was great.
So
Thanks,
our
everybody.
final presenter is Masania. Thank you, Masania. My question for you, while Sarah gets your images up. Oh, what is your go-to snack attack?
Oh, white cheddar popcorn and apples and peanut butter. Granny Smith apples.
I'm so impressed. People, you know yourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody here knows themselves. So. All right, when you're ready, Sarah will hit play.
All right, I'm ready. Welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina. This corporate utopia of fancy skyscrapers, clean, neat uptown streets, and young white professionals have made it the vanguard of the New South. However, this image is often at the expense of the diverse peoples and places that actually make it the New South. There are multiple Charlottes depending on who you ask. Each Charlotte is Black American immigrant-owned restaurants, bodegas, and grocers. Anything from fufu and curry to pickled pig feet and pig ears are at your fingertips. This is the flavor of my Charlotte. This is not a story of gentrifying East Charlotte. This is a story of gritty, rugged city streets, of marginalization, of community, of color, of fear, of love. It is bean pies, the Nation of Islam, the final call. It is the corner. It is Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, and the Black American South. It is dance hall, salsa, mariachi, hip hop, tapping a pack of Newports on your hand, chicken wings, potato wedges, grape soda, and wrap snacks in a hot, humid, stuffy convenience store. It is Juneteenth, Kente Cloth, family and tropical love, where fashion, food, and faith collide, where we recall liberation even in our marginalization. We do the electric slide and eat fried fish sandwiches, Marita white bread, saving us from choking on the bones. You see, they left this place of mid-century buildings, shopping malls, and apartment complexes for neighborhoods of covenants, manicured lawns, and high-end shopping. What they abandoned, Dominicans turn into compare foods, a simple grocery chain for some, a home for others. This store is for any immigrant searching for the taste of their island, coast, or valley, and those in need of affordable food in the hood. Patricia, a Dominican, Kester, a Guyanese. These piñata-cladded aisles, the mixed smells of raw meat and prickly fruits take them to their mothers. African markets, Dominican hair salons, and Black American barbershops dot the hot, crackling pavement. West African women yell in French to one another. They eat fufu from their hands in between hours of hair braiding. They call home to the Congo and receive packages of cassava and palm oil. We are neighbors, Africa and the diaspora. Us that have never known home, we could by chance taste it around the corner. Rice and okra, as Zoe's an old Liberian woman cooks while Mexican and Central Americans wait the tables. There is irony and hierarchy in our invisible Charlottes. Here, we determine who are outsiders. Sometimes they come in on buses for adventures to dance on their palate. It is both dangerous and exciting. Ned, an Ethiopian immigrant, makes them feel safe, demonstrating how we use injera, ancient bread of our ancestors, to eat with hands that built kingdoms. We are both similar and different. They've made us mostly feel foreign from one another. We take on their customs, eating with forks and knives. Habesha men tell us, as if we are distant cousins, learn to eat with your hands. Some of us cannot. It is un-American and it is not respectable. And so we create boundaries between those of us who share the same skin but are separated from memories. These boundaries are located in disdain and disgust for the smells, tastes, and textures from which we came. We dare not venture into the blue walls of Sierra International Market. If we dare to enter into those barred doors, letting you know you in the hood, and open our minds with the same bring bring as the notifying bell, you find the owner, Miss Tina, who is here showing curtains in preparation for Ramadan. This ain't just a grocery store. This is Africa in Charlotte. Like most mothers of the diaspora, if you need it, Miss Tina got it. And if she ain't got it, she gonna find it. Also, like most Black mothers, Miss Tina don't take no shit. I'm just a curious researcher. She offers me cola nuts from her protective palms, a West African tradition, and walks me through her aisles. She calls me the researcher and enjoys teasing this Black American. Miss Tina says most Black Americans won't come in. They say it stinks. It does indeed smell of dried fish, a West African delicacy. She reminds me, y'all eat chitlins. Nothing is worse than the smell of bull and hog intestines. We speak on our contentions and coherences. We are still family after all. My skin is her skin. We are of the same fabric, colorful, multi-layered. My mama asked if Miss Tina has a seamstress for her new dresses she just purchased in Ghana. It's not just a grocery store. One of Ms. Tina's friends returned from their home country of Sierra Leone. She shows me her new traditional hairdo. She brings Miss Tina news from home. They laugh and gossip. How so-and-so in their dialect. She brings gifts from home and purchases new things for life in Charlotte. I met another mother, Jay-Z Addict. Saturdays, we jam at her diasporic sound sessions. We sweat in summer and winter heat. Black and brown bodies collide. She brings us together through sound and food. There are no boundaries here. This is collectivity, Black family united. She prepares our meal. I sit next to a girl from Zimbabwe. I meet others from the Caribbean and the US. We eat a vegan diasporic inspired meal. Someone says we should go vegan and not eat slave food. I contend. Pig feet, souse meat, fried chicken, and chitlins ain't just slave food. It's survival food. We move, we survive, eat our buffalo cauliflower and salad. We aim for health. We long to conquer our own battles and to love ourselves. We are what we eat, diaspora. Thank you.
That was so good.
That was poetry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I'll take a sip of my Washington State wine.
Hey, here you are, girl.
And I ate Cornerstone for takeout. Cornerstone grinders.
Yeah.
Wow. That was just like.
Yeah, we're all thinking about the meaning of, the food that we choose right now.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, I'm serving my body, I'm serving my soul, I'm like aligning with, the food that means something to my life.
It's so much a part of our identities. And that's why just an amazing topic to share now in this moment, because I feel like everybody's take, everyone's story about food is your story. you know, it's your life
Oh,
story. Your story on
right.
food is your life story.
And
I
then
want to ask one final question, but before I do that, I want to ask Mark if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share.
Well, it's been, I'm just closing my door, so my kids are going crazy. So no, it's been really, really amazing. And, you know, it's been a lovely theme of food, you know, from the school presentation at the beginning to the bread to this last presentation. I mean, they've all been really amazing, and the food bank was really important too. But it really does give us a taste of your city, and other cities around the world are very similar. And I think these stories, I said right at the beginning, these are the stories the world should be listening to, because the 1% that we hear on the news is stuff we don't need to listen to. This is really the state of the nation, the state of the world, and they're really, really inspiring presentations. So my kids have been downstairs watching them, the parachute one, and the sort of the meaning of life and how important it is to take every day as it comes and make the best of it. They're really world-class presentations. I'm going totally goose pimply here. So thank you, Ellensburg, for inspiring the world. Thank you so much. It's really
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for being here. I'm getting asked to repeat what the text to give number is.
I'm going to share the slide, Monica, too.
Okay, great. So we're going to share the slide at the end so you know. It's 44321, and then you type in gallery. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank some players behind the scene too. Chris Trujillo helped us sort of game plan what it was going to be like to go live. Sarah, as she said, accidentally ended up our VJ. Hope Amison recruited quite a number of you. And of course, you know, just like the PK Force helping drive this momentum forward is incredible. And for all of you willing to share your individual stories with the world, I think I got a text message, like 175 households have joined us so far, and clearly your stories will have a greater impact than that.
Yeah, and I think that's saying that this YouTube, what generally happens, we'll get 200 people watching this right now. And then that's stored, and then, you know, more and more people will see it. We'll break down the presentations, we'll put them onto protractor.com so they're shared around the world from there. And also, we'd like to invite some of your presenters to present at our event. We're just working that out. So it'd be great from Ellensburg to present in Tokyo or in another city around the world. That's what's so great about this format. I think we'll be going into a hybrid type thing as the live events come back on stream. But this has really taught us a lot, and thank you for being a pioneering team to help us get this going.
So we want to do two things. I know, Mark, you have a tradition that you're starting for a screenshot. So if you can do that, we're going to ask everyone on the screen to, I think, wave your hand.
If Brian's watching or someone else watching, I'm going to do so. In Japan, if you see just behind me, there's a Banzai shop with everybody. So everybody raise their hands. Don't raise them so we need to see your face.
Wait, who's doing it? Is someone doing it?
So we go Banzai. Let's just do one now. 3, 2, 1. Banzai.
Banzai.
Let me just do one. I'll screenshot. So 3, 2, 1. Banzai. Okay, we got it.
That's great, because we do usually do a group huddle at the end of our events too, where we cuddle up.
We should do something where we pass the bread around the window
next time.
Oh, he's so good.
So I want to ask you guys one final question for the group, and for anyone watching, if you want to put this in your chat. What are you guys having for dinner? You saw what I had. What are you eating?
I had the red pickle. I had a veggie burger and Cajun fries from the red pickle. It was my favorite.
Yeah.
Fries are the bomb.
Oh, you had Cornerstone, Miss Sonia?
I had Cornerstone, but the fries at Red Pickle are the bomb.
Yes. Yes.
So Brooklyn's just opened again tonight, and Brooklyn's delivered one of their amazing Brooklyn pizzas, and the delivery person was so excited it was his first delivery and back working.
Oh, cool.
So he's our community.
I love their like monster pizza or
we got the Brooklyn at Brooklyn's because it's named after Brooklyn. She's gonna get taste and topping. So well done.
And Sarah, what's that?
I'm having a pear gorgonzola salad from the Pearl. Like, you think salads are easy, but they take a lot of work to get it.
They take a lot of work.
So much work.
Yeah,
Anyone
it's too
else want
much.
to share what they're having for dinner?
I'm gonna go and grab a takeout sandwich from our favorite restaurant in Tokyo called Plate, and Ayano San there, big shout out to her. She's doing a great job doing sandwiches for lunch and dinner, so we're trying to help support her.
Great name, Plate, clearly. All right, well, if no one else wants to share, I'd love to, oh, Sarah?
Oh, sure. Okay. Rice with tofu and Bragg's and brewer's yeast and other vegetables, radishes, miso, and
Coming around.
and yeah, there you go. And then some kind of seaweed, kagame maybe. So
Wow.
there you go.
Kagame.
Yeah.
Come to Tokyo.
And now I'm
soon.
having sake. So
Okay.
Bye.
Cornerstone.
All right, well, I guess I'd love to end with in unison, I'd love to say together, if you're okay with this, we didn't talk about this, bon appetit, if you guys are okay with that, or your version of what that means. So on 3, 2, 1. Bon
appetit.
appetit!
Some just